So you want to own a diamond mine. Everyone who's ever said that thought the hard part was finding the diamonds. It wasn't. Picture this: 220 kilometers south of the Arctic Circle. A frozen lake. Temperature so low the air itself feels like it's trying to kill you. And in the middle of that lake, a hole. Not a small hole, a $1.3 billion hole. Dug before a single diamond had been pulled out, before a single dollar of revenue existed, before anyone knew for certain whether it would ever pay back. That's the Diavik mine. And here's the thing that should stop you cold: the only way to build it was an ice road. A highway made of frozen water, open for exactly 10 weeks a year, then gone. Every truck, every steel beam, every diesel generator that would keep 300 workers alive in the Arctic winter, all of it had to cross that road during the one window it existed. Miss the window, you wait a year. That's how you build a diamond mine. Now here's where it gets strange. Diamonds, geologically, are not actually that rare. The Earth makes them constantly, deep in the mantle, under pressure and heat that's existed for billions of years. What's rare, what costs $1.3 billion, isn't the diamond. It's finding one in a place like this, surviving a place like this, digging through a place like this. The diamond isn't the hard part. The Arctic is. And getting to the point where you're even allowed to dig, that's its own filter most people never clear. Geologists look for kimberlite pipes, narrow volcanic shafts blasted up from the mantle millions of years ago that occasionally carried diamonds with them. The word occasionally is doing a lot of work in that sentence. The overwhelming majority of kimberlite pipes they find are empty, uneconomic, dead ends. There are fewer than 100 large-scale diamond mines operating anywhere on Earth today after more than a century of organized exploration across every continent by the best-funded geological teams in history. 100 mines on the entire planet. Finding one that's actually worth building can take decades, cost hundreds of millions before a single shovel goes in the ground, with no guarantee, none, that any of it pays off. Say you're one of the rare ones. You found the pipe. You cleared the filter. You built the mine. Diavik is running. Carats are coming out of the ground. 300,000, 350,000 a month, because that's the floor. That's what you need to pull out every single month just to cover the diesel heat, the camp, the crews rotating in and out by plane, because there are no roads before you break even, before profit exists as a concept. You clear that bar too. Production's up. Costs are covered. Diamonds are moving. You'd think you're in the clear now. Geology is beaten. Math is beaten. Just collect the revenue. There's one more thing, and it's the thing nobody puts in the feasibility study because it isn't a mining problem at all. In 2003, the diamond industry got a new rule. After the civil wars in Sierra Leone, Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Wars funded by diamonds, rough stones pulled from mines, controlled by warlords, and traded for weapons. The world called them conflict diamonds, blood diamonds, and the international community responded with the Kimberley process, a certification scheme that said, you cannot sell a rough diamond on the legitimate market without a certificate proving it didn't fund a war. Today, 98% of the world's rough diamonds move with that certificate attached. It's not paperwork. It's the price of admission to selling your product anywhere that matters. So you get certified. You're selling. Everything is running. Now and only now do we get to the part of this story that nobody saw coming. It's 1947. Philadelphia. A young copywriter named Frances Gerety is sitting at her desk, working on an account she's had for her entire career. She's never married. She probably never will. It's post-war America. And a woman choosing a career over a family is still something people whisper about. She's tired. It's late. She needs a tagline. She scribbles 4 words on a notepad. A diamond is forever. She goes home. Her agency runs it in a De Beers ad the following year. Nobody thinks much of it at the time. 4 words. Simple, clean, almost obvious. But something happens. In the 1930s, fewer than 1 in 10 marriage proposals in America involved a diamond ring. By the time Frances Gerety retired in the 1970s, just from those 4 words, just from that one campaign, it was the default, the assumption, the thing every man was supposed to do and every woman was supposed to want. Her agency also invented the rule that a ring should cost a specific fraction of a man's salary, a number with 0 economic basis, made up in a boardroom, that millions of people still treat as fact today. Think about what that means. The price of a diamond, the number that determines whether a billion-dollar mine in the Arctic is profitable or bankrupt, was set not by geology, not by supply and demand, not by any natural force. It was set by a tired woman who wanted to go home. And De Beers understood exactly what they had. At its peak, De Beers controlled close to 90% of the world's rough diamond trade. They held enormous stockpiles in London vaults and released them slowly, carefully, just enough to keep the price climbing. Because forever was the pitch. Diamonds don't get resold. They don't flood the market. They sit in boxes, in drawers, in safe deposit vaults, passed down through generations, never coming back. The price per carat you'd get for anything pulled out of Diavik wasn't a market price. It was a managed one. For most of the 20th century, it worked. Then came the thing nobody planned for: lab-grown diamonds. Chemically identical, optically identical, certified by the same labs, graded by the same standards, indistinguishable to the human eye and priced 80 to 90% below mined stones. Not fake diamonds, not cubic zirconia, real diamonds, grown in a machine. They now account for somewhere north of 45% of new engagement rings sold in the United States, climbing every year this decade. And here's where it gets brutal. De Beers, the company built on Frances Gerety's 4 words, tried to fight back. They launched their own lab-grown diamond brand in 2025 as a hedge, a separate line, a way to capture both markets. They shut it down within the year. Their parent company, Anglo American, has written down De Beers' value by $6.8 billion over the past 3 years. They've been trying to sell the company since 2024. So far, no buyer. Sit with that number for a second. $6.8 billion. That is more than 5 Diaviks. $5 billion mines dug out of the Arctic ice, worth less on paper than what De Beers lost in pure brand value in 3 years. And nobody will buy what's left. That price collapse doesn't stay in a boardroom in London. It runs straight down the supply chain, all the way to the hole in the ice. In early 2026, Diavik closed, 23 years after it opened. 150 million carats pulled out of the ground. An ice road crossed hundreds of times. Crews rotated in and out through Arctic winters that would kill an unprepared man in hours. Rio Tinto's diamond division, built almost entirely around that one mine, posted a loss of $127 million in its final full year. A few hundred kilometers away, Ekati's owner lost $94.7 million the same year. Gachoku's minority partner lost $81 million. The government of the Northwest Territories had to step in with millions in tax relief just to keep the 2 remaining mines alive, because diamond mining makes up roughly 1/5 of that territory's entire economy, and there is no replacement waiting. Here is what I want you to understand. The mine wasn't the problem. Djavik did exactly what a billion-dollar hole in the Arctic is supposed to do. It found diamonds. On schedule. For 23 years, the geology was right. The engineering was right. The crews were right. The ice road held season after season. Everything worked. What broke wasn't the mine. What broke was the price. And the price was never really about the rocks. It was about 4 words a woman wrote on a notepad in 1947 before going home for the night, words that were never technically true, that described no physical property of the stone, that were invented to sell jewelry and ended up holding an entire global industry together for 70 years. A diamond is forever. Until it wasn't. The sentence finally ran out of road at the exact same moment the mine that depended on it did. If you want to see what happens to an entire economy when the thing it was built on turns out to be a story instead of a fact, that one's already up. Subscribe before the next one drops.